When Vanessa first walked into St. Augustine's Academy, she already knew she didn't belong there. St. Augustine's wasn't an ordinary school. It was the kind of school where students arrived in shiny cars, where designer bags were normal, and where everyone seemed to come from money. But Vanessa, she arrived in an old taxi. Her uniform was clean, but you could tell it has been worn many times before. Her shoes were slightly faded, and the moment she stepped into the classroom, people noticed. Some whispered, some laughed quietly, and some just stared. A girl sitting near the window leaned over to her friend and said loudly, enough for Vanessa to hear, who invited the charity case. The class laughed. Vanessa pretended not to hear. She walked to the only empty seat in the back and sat there quietly. What they didn't know was that Vanessa had worked very hard to get into the school. She had earned a full academic scholarship. Her teachers believed she was one of the brightest students they had ever seen. But at St. Augustine's Academy, intelligence wasn't what people respected. Money was, and Vanessa had none. The most popular girl in the school was Andrea. Andrea was beautiful, rich, and extremely confident. Her father owned several companies in the city, and everyone knew that if Andrea didn't like you, your life in school could become very difficult. Unfortunately for Vanessa, Andrea noticed her on the very first day. During lunch break, Vanessa sat alone under a tree with a small lunchbox her mother had packed. Just bread and eggs. Andrea and her friends walked past. They stopped. Andrea looked at the lunchbox and laughed. Is that your lunch? Her friends giggled. Vanessa stayed quiet. Andrea crossed her arms. Let me guess. Scholarship student? More laughter from her friends. Vanessa finally spoke softly. Yes. Andrea smiled, but it wasn't a friendly smile. Oh, so you are one of those. Then she turned to her friends. You know what that means, right? They all nodded. Andrea looked back at Vanessa. Poor girl in a rich school. From that day on, Vanessa became their favorite target in the school. Every day, something happened. Sometimes, Andrea would hide Vanessa's books. Sometimes, her classmates would laugh when she answered questions in class. Once, someone poured juice into her school bag. Another time, her shoes mysteriously disappeared during sports period. Vanessa never fought back. She never argued. She never complained. She simply endured it. Because she knew one thing. If she lost this scholarship, she would lose the only chance she had to change her family's life. Her mother worked as a tailor in a tiny shop. Her father had died when she was 10. Vanessa was their only hope, so she focused on her studies. Even when people mocked her, even when she cried quietly at night, she kept going. But there was something about Amanda that nobody in that school knew. Every evening after classes, she didn't go home immediately. Instead, she went to a mall, a small public library. There, she studied for hours. Sometimes until the lights were about to turn off. She was preparing for a national science competition. A competition where the winner would receive a full international scholarship and a huge cash prize. Amina had been secretly working on a project for months. a project she believed could change her future, but she told no one because she had already learned something important. People laugh at your dreams until those dreams start becoming real. Then one day, the school announced a big opportunity. St. Augustine's Academy had been invited to send students to the National Young Innovators Competition. Students could present their ideas in front of judges from universities around the world. The winner could receive international recognition. Andrea immediately signed up. She loved attention. Her project, something her private tutor basically built for her. But when Vanessa heard the announcement, her heart raced. This was the competition she had been praying for. But she hesitated. What if people laughed again? What if they embarrassed her? Still, she ignored and signed up. And when Andrea saw her name on the list, she burst into laughter. You? Andrea said loudly. You're competing? Her friends laughed too. This is going to be entertaining. She laughed mockingly. The competition was held in a large auditorium. Students from many schools were there. Everyone had impressive presentations, beautiful posters, fancy prototypes. Andrea presented first. Her presentation looked polished, but when the judges asked deeper questions, she struggled to answer. Still, people clapped politely. Then, it was Vanessa's turn. She walked to the stage quietly. Some students from her school whispered, "This should be funny." But when Vanessa started speaking, the room became silent. Her project was about low-cost water purification for rural communities. She explained the science clearly. She showed a simple but powerful prototype. And when the judges asked questions, she answered every single one confidently. Even the judges looked very impressed. For the first time, the students from St. Augustine's Academy weren't laughing. They were staring. Hours later, the judges returned to announce the winner. Everyone held their breath. Third place, another school. Second place, Andrea's name was called. She smiled proudly and walked to the stage. Then came the final announcement. First place. The auditorium was quiet. And the winner of the year's National Young Innovators Competition is a pause. Vanessa Olandria. For a moment, Vanessa didn't move. She thought she heard wrong. Then the room erupted with applause. The same students who once laughed at her were now staring in shock. Andrea's smile disappeared. Winning the competition changed everything. Vanessa received a huge scholarship offer from an international university. News about her project even appeared in local media. Suddenly, the girl everyone ignored became the girl everyone wanted to talk to. Students who once mocked her started greeting her. Some even tried to become her friend. But Vanessa didn't become arrogant. She didn't insult anyone. She remained calm. One day, Andrea approached her. For the first time, she looked nervous. I guess I underestimated you. Vanessa smiled simply. and said something Andrea would never forget. You didn't underestimate me. You just never tried to understand me. Now, to everyone, learn from the story of Vanessa and Andrea. Not everyone who looks quiet is weak. Not everyone who looks poor lacks value. Sometimes the people the world laughs at are the ones preparing to surprise everyone. So before you judge someone, remember this: you never know the story they are writing. Thank you.